Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a night where dreams, dedication, and determination come together. Welcome to the Abyro Capital Fund launch right here in the innovation capital of India, Hyderabad. Get ready to enjoy a stimulating evening, soaking in the energy of this room filled with change makers, visionaries, and dreamers. It's time to kick off our evening of inspiration and innovation. Hyderabad, the city of pearls and possibility, is the perfect backdrop for this launch. A launch that promises to empower India US entrepreneurs like never before. Our agenda tonight is a mix of celebration, collaboration, and commitment to the entrepreneurial spirit. And what better way to start than with the man whose strategic vision has shaped this ecosystem? Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. MSR, our strategic advisor, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Paulomi. Good evening, everyone. Um, I see a lot of friends here. Some of them are old in more ways than one, right? But nice to be back here, and it's been close to about 2 months. But as someone said about Hotel California, right? Once you check in, you can't check out. So in a different context. So nice to be here, and thank you for all showing up in such large numbers. So good to see so many familiar faces. And this is part of a new journey. So I want to start first with a little bit of background. I have a 500 slide presentation, which we'll do slowly, right? But before we get there, um, sorry, yeah, and we've also given instructions to those guys out there till everyone listens to the 500 slide deck, their dinner won't be served, right? But on a more serious note, I think uh, you know I met Vamsi about a little more than a year ago. And for those of you who have not met Vamsi, Vamsi Kora, Vamsi, maybe you can stand up and wave to the Ador. You will anyway, but yeah, yeah, yeah. So I met him about a year ago, right? And when I was at T Hub, and in some ways, his journey was a very fascinating journey. He's actually a marine engineer, okay, turned software engineer, and like all good people from Telangana and Andhra, went to the US, worked in a bunch of companies, and then decided, I think the entrepreneurial bug bit him one day, and then he built this company called Gati Analytics, right? Now, when he first told me about Gati, I thought, since when did that cargo company get into the analytics space? All of us know Gati, but then he said Gati, the Sanskrit word Gati. Gati means speed and all of that. And then, of course, he will obviously talk about his journey. I won't steal his thunder from him. But I found a lot of things we had in common, that both of us, in some ways, were first generation entrepreneurs. Didn't necessarily come from we're not born with a silver spoon. Didn't come from a background of entrepreneurship, and both built companies of some size, some shape, and then had exits, right? And he's also the other thing which kind of deeply resonated with me was his very keen desire to kind of give back. And he'll talk about some of the stuff he's done from a give back part. Hello, VLK. Yeah. Um, Please. Yeah. So before before I leave the floor to Vamsi, I just thought I'll share some thoughts about why we are doing what we are doing, and uh, how we've come to this stage, and what Vamsi will of course cover at depth, what he intends to do and as part of our team as we go forward. Can I have the clicker? Yeah. Okay, so I won't bore you with this journey, but as some of you know, I finished my term about a couple of months ago, and as I was contemplating what I'll do next, right? So someone told me, someone, I won't name the person, he's actually in this hall. He said, you've retired from T Hub, but hopefully you've not retired from life. So I said, no, I haven't retired. Neither am I tired, nor am I retired, right? And so that's how this, this thing kind of tea induced. Okay, thank you, Srikanth. See, Srikanth always gives value add. Yeah. Okay. So as we were working together on this, and I'm happy to see so many of my friends from the who's who of the VC community here. Some of this is data which I won't bore you with this data, but obviously the Indian ecosystem has evolved significantly, and close to whatever $150 billion of funding in the last 10 years, etc. We also looked at one of the challenges I found when I was at T Hub in the 3 years is this constant comparison with our neighbors down south, right? That city with the bad traffic called Bangalore, right? And I came from Bangalore, right? So I lived there in Bangalore for about 17 years before moving here. And of course, one question which I keep getting asked nowadays is, are you going back to Bangalore? So I just want to reassure all of you that unfortunately you're going to be stuck with me. I'm going to be in Hyderabad, right? So please bear with that. But so what we were looking at is, what is the challenge we've had in Hyderabad? And I know we have plenty of our friends from the VC community here, but relatively, it's a fact that in terms of one factor which everyone used to ask me is how many unicorns does Hyderabad have? What is the level of funding, etc. And we felt while there are close to about a dozen plus active funds in Hyderabad, relative to Bangalore, the action is relatively muted from a funding lens, right? And so one of the reasons why when Vamsi was contemplating where he wanted to set up this, I said, Vamsi, you don't have a choice. It has to be in Hyderabad, right? So thank you, Vamsi, for deciding it should be in Hyderabad. And the second thing we said is, I told him, obviously, um, it has to be at T Hub. Okay. So we are actually have, you'll meet Mansi, some of you know her. So we're going to be operating from the second floor at T Hub. Okay, so this is a very busy slide. This is something which comes from an entity called Startup Genome. I won't go through the entire slide, but what is interesting to see is I'm going to point your attention to the last, the graph on the extreme left, which is about the early stage funding. It's close to now about close to 800, 809 million in Hyderabad. Yeah, close to 809 million in Hyderabad. And there are exits which are also happening. As you can see, the numbers are slowly going up. Last year was slow, but hopefully we'll start to see more action in Hyderabad in the near term. Okay, now this is something which you know was it's like almost like a dagger in our hearts for those of us who are proud Hyderabadis. That relative to our neighbors, both our southern neighbors, we are relatively smaller in terms of funding. This is a year-on-year comparison compared to 23 and two two similar periods. And as you can see, we are a significant gap between what's happening in our you know other southern neighbors apart from Bombay and Delhi, right? So I think when you think about it, um I think Hyderabad has everything going for it. We have high quality talent. We have some of the largest. Everyone talks about the fact that the largest campuses of companies like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, etc., are in Hyderabad. We have a high quality education system. We have many quality entrepreneurs, but we still haven't kind of, in some ways cracked the code, sort of thing, right? So this is our humble effort, right, to see what we can do. And thank you for coming in such large numbers to see what we can do when we can build an ecosystem together. And part of what we are looking to see is how can we create a difference, and we'll talk a little bit about how we are going to be a little different from what's happening, in the traditional sense. So, for those of you who may have heard me speak earlier, so some of you know that I was involved in building two startups, exited, and one of the challenges we had, particularly in the second startup, where we felt the ambition was to be a dominant player in India and be a significant player, outside India, uh, particularly in the US, was when there's an early stage startup trying to build a significant business, particularly in the developed market, you have serious challenges in terms of trying to figure out your game plan, right? Which is, how do you get in front of customers? How do you create a convincing story? What messaging you do, which may be relevant in an Indian context, may not be so relevant in a mature market, like for example, the Americas and so on. So the whole complexity of setting up, for example, when I was building my business, at each state where we had to have an person working remotely, we had to register. Of course, we use somebody like Trinet, but those are all things which you learn to figure out on the fly, right? And so what we thought is, essentially, one of the reasons why, when I was talking to Vamsi, the whole idea of setting up this, you might call it corridor fund, Indo-US fund, was the fact that, obviously there is elements of what he has done, which is build a business from scratch in the US, scale it up to a point where it got acquired by a large player like Goldman Sachs, right? So he's been there, done that, and that kind of deeply resonated. And what we believe we can do, in terms of being able to support entrepreneurs, is essentially help them with some of these elements apart from capital, which is in terms of helping them with market access, in terms of helping them with understanding the lay of the land, and then obviously leverage the power of the network, which collectively we all built over a period of time. Yeah. So, so I've kind of covered this. I'll skip this, but broadly, and I just want to end this. I know we have one of India's most storied sports persons going to be here. So in a way, Vamsi and I stand between her and you. Sindhu should be here shortly. But there's one of the things, I always try and look at the analogy between sport and sport and work, and sport and entrepreneurship, etc. So there's a lot of things which I find in common. And for those of you who've not seen this movie, there's a movie called Any Given Sunday. How many of you have seen it? Just two, three, four. Yeah, this is one of my favorite clips. So whenever I'm feeling a little down, I look it up. It's a wonderful 4-minute clip on YouTube by Al Pacino. Talks about, we all work together as a team, and the intent of what we are trying to do here is to work with early stage entrepreneurs, work with them as a team, and help them scale to the next level, right? So again, thank you for coming in such large numbers. Look forward to meeting many of you, and of course, Vamsi will cover at length what we are, what the thesis of the fund is, and how we hope to be able to add to the Hyderabad ecosystem. So thank you again for coming, and Vamsi, over to you.
All right. Um, I'll start by saying we are in the field of either technology startups or investing. Nobody's going to die in this field. So, as due difference to Al Pacino and whoever wrote that line, either we play team sport or go alone, we are still going to live. Going alone might be boring, but that's a worst thing that can happen. We'll still live. But coming back to the story, I'll also differ on one more thing. There was never any doubt about starting in Hyderabad, because this is a city that I deeply love with for as long as I could remember. And there's no question about starting in this building. I didn't know MSR when I made that statement. Right across here, there's a brewery somewhere here. So about 11 p.m., I was having a few drinks with a couple of friends from US, and I said that's where more than a year ago, and that's where the next office is going to be, because I loved the building. Look around us, a city is growing like crazy, and but everything goes up like in straight lines, and this building stands out as if this could be in Barcelona or Seattle or somewhere. When cities are growing and so much of wealth is created, it's important that community leaders as well as builders think of making bit of a statement. So whoever came up with this idea, MSR Garu and others, and I'm sure government leaders who were there at the time, they actually took couple of steps back and thought about actually making a statement, and this actually makes a statement. So there was no question in my mind that we are going to be here. Then the only question is how to get to MSR. That's the only question, and we figured that out thanks to Pawan Adipuram, wherever he is. Raise your hand. Thank you, buddy. So coming to Abyro, next one. Am I driving? Okay. So the word Abyro, I actually wanted to name it Lumi Capital. Lumi has become my life's philosophy in last 7 8 years. Going through life's up and downs, I try to, I understand myself better and the world around me. People who are successful, people who work hard, still not successful. People who continue to inspire all the time across about 30 40 years of we watching them grow in front of us, right? People like Sachin, and there's so many analogies outside sports. So the Lumi talks about learn, unlearn, move, and inspire. You keep doing them. First three, you will do enough to inspire others around you. But unfortunately, we couldn't get the name. So I wanted to do something that is much more relatable to the field I chose to be in, which is investing. Abyro represents initiating something and constantly moving. The YRO comes from the machine gyro. So the idea is to be resonating with the people who are the founders, startups, risk takers, who create something and who obsess with it, and who become very restless about it, and who constantly move to make something out of it. That's what Abyro is. And the vision is not really great. I mean, we are going to help build tech companies. And I'm going to talk about key differentiators, three of them in next slide. But it is really about getting into technology. Right now, we are giving ourselves, broad range of coverage. We are going to let market teach us. We are going to be very open to it. The reason that I can say that without getting into this idea of did you do your research and get into this narrow place of which verticals and which horizontals that you want to invest these $25 million and the next $25 million. I resisted the temptation to define myself into a place initially, but we will get there at some point. But there are a few broad ideas that I'm going to discuss with you. I had to write Gen AI. I didn't know how to put that in vision, but if you don't write Gen AI, it's almost like you're out of touch. So uh, the the differentiator, every fund is different in their own way, but I can talk about it. When I started Gati, when I wanted to sell our services to large banks, the question always comes back and say, I have Accenture to IBM to TCS to Infosys, everybody in between. Why Gati? See, it took me almost a year to figure out how to respond to that question. And the answer is, I am you. I am selling to a chief data officer or a CIO or CIO minus one. When I'm talking to them, I'm talking on almost like equal terms, even though I'm a vendor. I can empathize with their life. I can empathize with the stress and the joy of what they are going through. So similarly, because of Gati's journey, this fund is built by founders and the engineers. So if I look around the the people here, I can recognize about 40% of you remaining all MSR and Mansi's gang, I would say. So everyone, either I understand engineering now or I understand how to sell your strengths, not sell everything, but sell your strengths. So we are going to be very, very focused on a founders led, and industry SMEs who became founders. We are going to focus on those companies. I think Mark Cuban, the Shark Tank guy, he has this very, as he tends to say, pretty blunt things. Every idiot has a plan or an idea. Very few can actually execute. You can execute because you are playing to your strength. You can execute because you're a SME in the field and in the product and in the service that you are selling. So once you get behind your own skill and once you can attract right talent around you, you are golden. You are more than 50% chance of winning that battle already. Then the market fitment, the entire study that we all understand, they come into play. So you will get from us that kind of a bottoms up view rather than top down of only numbers all the time kind of investment, which has their value. Don't get me wrong, but I when I observed about 100 different funds and hundreds of these investments that fund managers made in last few years, you meet any VC today in the hallway and some of them are in the room. You probably hear one pain point today is they are sitting on extremely attractive cap tables from last 2 3 years. However, they are finding it very difficult to liquidate those cap tables and give it back to their investors. The current climate is not very conducive. So we are going to be different exactly because we are going to approach it more on the SME led founders, their teams, and whether they are playing to their strengths and that strengths have market value. That's how we are going to be. So I know few people already reached out. We are talking to few companies already. But when you approach us, please be in, keep this in mind on we're going to be very focused on your strength and your team strength more than anything else. So you will see many of these discussions on founders. And moreover, I also want to emphasize one thing. When we say we are founders and we understand founders, it is just this. Founders who actually build companies for more than another great return in terms of dollars and rupees. Founders generally do win because either they really want to make change, optimize a business process, or completely invent something new, or help invent something new, or in my case, as I did, I really wanted to make a statement at 45 years of age. I somehow it got into me that I had to make a statement in this world. So when you are driven by something other than money, money will come. So we understand the people who are just operators fly by versus founders who actually want to build a value for them and the ecosystem they are in. And we also understand the second important thing, the most important thing probably is building something, bootstrapping something on your own, and being a founder and a CEO of startup is an extremely lonely affair. We all, whoever built anything in their life, you can empathize with this. You will end up having sleepless nights, hundreds of them, and that is and that borderline insanity is what defines great entrepreneurs, great inventors, great founders from everybody else. So you can understand where we are coming from, that very hard and bottoms up view of approach to building great companies. And I'm the first person to say, even though today is really celebrating Abyro, introduction of Abyro and investment thesis and so on, my goal and my team's goal is not to become a fraction of the cost law of the future. That's never the intention. We want to actually build companies on our own. We not only are going to invest in others ideas, but we are going to have what we call as hive. You will see in next slides in innovation studio, and we are going to actually spin off our own companies. We are going to bootstrap our own companies through this fund, apart from investing in others ideas. Those are the two differentiators. And the third one is, fortunately for me, without not trying much for it, in last Gati has changed my life in more than one way. And one big way is I got access to few dozens of extremely brilliant, extremely successful, extremely visible industry leaders, especially in US, especially in financial markets. You will hear from a couple of them in the videos to follow, and there are few others who are going to sign up in next few weeks. You will see as you follow us on LinkedIn and other places. These are the people who built great companies. They are the CEOs of large financial services companies in US. who are going to be on our board of advisors, guiding us and propelling us to great heights, and that extends to our portfolio companies. Those are the three differentiators, I would say. Remaining all is like any other fund. This is again, I don't want to go through details because you are not investing in this fund. The fund is about $25 million, the first one, and all the investors are US based residents at this point. We will end up starting second fund probably in Q2 or Q3 next year. That will have non-US residents and opportunity for them to invest in our growth. But before we get there, we need to find few great wins, and I'm sure this room represents some of those wins, some of those founders who can actually help us build go to the next level scale. So this is a representation of where we are going to invest. We will be most likely come in the early stage and the pre-series A, when an idea is already kind of proven, got traction in the marketplace, especially when these ideas come in the financial services and life sciences, etc., and logistics, because of the nature of again, we are going to play to our strength. My strength is in financial services and data systems and ERP and so on. And we are going to bring in SMEs into specific areas that we are going to invest in. But we will be looking for companies which has proven the idea works and have some traction. And we are going to help scale them both in US and in India. This is very detailed plan, very boring for almost all of you because none of you invested in this company are going to invest because we don't need. So I'm going to skip this. Again, a lot of details on the fund. As I said, it's a $25 million fund and is subscribed already with, again, pretty fortunate to, when I started, playing with this idea about a year ago, pretty fortunate to have a bunch of friends and family supporting right away. So the raising funds part has, become rather easier and close that very, very quickly. We will have a bunch of stakeholders, limited partners who invested. We will have operating partners, meaning people who are actually invested, as I said, who are SMEs of some domain in the industry, who are going to help us in one way or other, thought leadership, strategy, execution, and finding right, investments to make and so on and so forth. Again, this is run-of-the-mill. Most funds have their own thesis, but I already mentioned what we are going to look at. For me, two things matter. You will hear me talk about it with Sindhu too. Whether it is sports or business or anywhere, in fact, execution trumps everything else. But more than execution, and to get execution the right way, you need a team. And we are going to be very, very focused on founders, their strengths, and their team strengths. And some of the areas we are going to look at are, just listed: legal tech. Everybody is reading about McKinsey's and Bain's and, Genpact's studies on how Gen AI is going to change our lives and so on. I am not so gung-ho about Gen AI changing our lives in next 6 months to 2, 3 years, but few areas for sure. You can learn much quicker, much faster, much more intuitively from these models today. If you want to learn a language, for example, they can become your personalized tutor much effectively than a Gen AI bot making decisions about mortgage lending. Because then you are running into highly regulated, highly risky affair of approving loans based on a data set and data that you have available. The model has a, in its source. So you can run into a lot of regulatory issues that will take some time. So we are going to be very focused on this. But one point I want to make, this is my point of view. We still have to discuss with a few experts here, especially in India. In last 6, 7 years, I'm watching from a distance. There's a lot of progress that is made on consumption side of technology. We all are beneficiaries of it. You can sit at home and order anything in the world in this city. It's quite amazing living in Columbus, Ohio, a small town, compared to Hyderabad today. So the consumption side is kind of has gone to whatever the most beneficial way that it can go. The digital payments and the stories that are already celebrated. However, the back end of optimization, whether it is manufacturing, building something, or content creation, and the equal level playing field there, and actually channeling the stuff that is created and manufactured to the consumer, that is still I would say probably about a generation behind. And that's where most of disruptions will happen in this country. If India, not if, but the 2047 number that we all are reading about, how this will become second largest GDP with more than 10 trillion economy, it's hard to imagine how that will happen without the back end of manufacturing, building, and the channels that bring those goods to us much better than what they are today. So we are going to be very keenly watching logistics and supply chain technology and see where we can get involved. The team, you will hear about Mansi. I think she is nervously waiting for Sindhu somewhere outside, but you will hear about it towards the end. We talked about MSR. You all know him. Looks like there's not a single person that I can run into in startup and investor community in this city who doesn't know MSR. So I'm glad to see him joining as our advisor. But as importantly, I am super thrilled to have Mansi as my partner in this execution of this fund and the future funds. When I first met her, again, thanks to Pawan in this building, I was so impressed. It's very difficult for me to assess a banker or investment person's capabilities because I'm not good at it. I never interviewed anybody. But just because there she is, just because the way she is and the way she intuitively and always and consistently think about helping the ecosystem, that's what really mattered to me more than anything else. So I'm so happy that she agreed to join us. So right now it's a 2-member team. There are offices in Columbus, Ohio, where I live, and the second floor of this building. And we are going to have another 3-4 people join in next I think 4 weeks or so. So it will be a small team for a small fund, and we'll see how far it goes. But the hive part of our build, you will hear from one of my friends who is already started helping me build one part of learning platform. That will have an engineering talent, and that will be probably in a different place than this building, but that will be the team. So as I mentioned, for a fund of this size, you really all you need is exposure to a network of all of you, this building, and 100 of these buildings here in US. Really, people who can bring us together with founders, and we are finding these advisors who are, as I said, industry leaders who have accomplished so much in their life. Hi, Sindhu. Thanks for joining us. So I'm not going to bore you with each and every profile. You guys can note down names and look up. And if you need anything from them, apart from them helping me, if there is a startup founder here or a company owner who could use their help, they are best people that you can be in touch with. More than happy to make connections, and you will hear a couple of sound bites from them. But the profile of these people or these advisors are, these are most accomplished individuals in their own industry, especially in financial services. There are 2 other leaders who will join us before end of January. I can't name them right now because they are sitting on actual boards of 2 top 10 banks in US. So they need to have the clearance, and we are working through those approvals, but they will join us in about a month or so. Um, and I think there is, can we play the video?
Hello, Hyderabad. Geez, the momentum here at Abyro is just unstoppable. My name is Maria Mann, and I'm a proud board member and advisor at Abyro. I have a tremendous privilege to work alongside some of the sharpest, most authentic leaders in the business, individuals who are truly passionate about supporting technologists and founders to drive real growth. So, what's our mission here at Abyro? We're here to supercharge these founders on their journey to success. Now that we have technology hubs in both India and in the US, we're combining this top talent of technology and Gen AI to truly scale these businesses forward. As technologists, what an amazing opportunity to work in an environment where you can tackle fresh, impactful challenges alongside founders without the burden of outdated code bases. It's a space where innovation truly thrives. I've been to Hyderabad many times. I love the people, I love the culture, I love the vibe, and most importantly, I love the food. So I look forward to visiting you soon. Thank you. Hello.
There's one more, right?
Hi, I'm Rachel Weller, and I'm excited to be an advisor to Abreo Capital, largely because it makes official something I've been doing anyway, which is working with people I love to help founders perform the miraculous alchemy of turning nothing into something. The founders are the ones doing the hard work, and I'm just excited that I get a chance to use my pattern recognition and experience and my dollars to help those founders achieve liftoff. I'm also excited about Abreo because it gives me a chance to work with the brainiacs in India and the brainiacs in the United States to find solutions together. So thank you for the opportunity and the privilege to work with you.
Okay, so I mentioned briefly about startup lab that we call Hive. So there are two investments that we are already we made. Just because one, I know the founder, Alex Avery. He worked with me and for me as the marketing guy for Gati. He's building what I would say as the next gen marketing space for influencer driven market space. You know, we were just discussing last night when you take whether it is a brand like Sindhu or a localized influencer of certain sort as me, how do you propagate that knowledge and that influence in a very positive way and make sure that the content owners and the brand owners get most out of it rather than in between layers. So this will democratize. There are already few platforms which are already doing it, where the writers get their most royalties. You know, a content maker gets most royalty, but this platform is going to be much more aggressively democratize that process. I think he's about 90% done. In fact, the reason that he could not even record messages is he's in Las Vegas with Verizon, uh, and I'm really happy to announce that he just signed about 1.1 million contract with Verizon. So next time when you walk into Verizon showroom, physical showroom in US, you will see a different vibe of digital experience thanks to Alex and his team. Either that or he's having so much fun in Vegas and didn't have time. It can happen, but that's a story he told me. The next one is we call it honeycomb, in fact hedgecomb. This is one of the things that me and one of my classmates, you will hear from him in a second, have been thinking about it quite some time. So when outside work, one of the things that always drew my energy and passion is kids and education, whether it is in my small village in Andhra or in Hyderabad, through Ahan. I always wanted to somehow make a difference to the kids who didn't have enough coverage around them. So through Gati, we got involved in an organization called Ahan. We have a few representatives from there here today who help kids of construction workers in this city. This happened because of pandemic. You know, those are the people who are most neglected. We started helping them initially with bits and pieces. Then I got to know about this organization and amazing people, amazing teachers, amazing organization. So we wanted to see, you can always write a check and cover like 100 kids, 400 kids. But what if you can actually use technology today? We just talked about Gen AI and learning abilities to actually make this scale 1,000 times. What if you influence, veterans and their kids, or a inner city kid in Columbus, Ohio, or Des Moines, Iowa, and Hyderabad here, and give them the same chance of people everywhere else. And also, while doing that, how do you make money? So we are trying to crack that nut a little bit. We are about 30% done the platform. We call it HCOM, and I'll let my friend give you a little bit of synopsis of it in just a minute. But the idea here is generally that. So through Hive, our startup foundry, I would say that we are going to try about 10, 12 ideas in next 3 years in rapid pace, and most of the development will happen here in Hyderabad, and we'll see which of those three will bubble up to be invested more and really grow into hopefully very large scale global companies and platforms that will impact communities around them. Adi, you can
Hi,
take a
this
picture.
is Murali from Honeycomb. Me and Vamsi went to college together, and it has been a wonderful journey so far. Both of us share this passion to intersect enterprises and social good. We are creating this collaborative, intelligent platform that helps people from non STEM and diverse backgrounds and trains them to transition into a technology career. For example, it helps a school teacher or an inner city kid or a retired army vet to get into technology job role. We are really passionate and super excited about this. We are currently in beta phase, helping women from rural backgrounds, but really getting ready to launch by June 2025. Please check us out at hcom.ai. See, what Abyro is bringing to this is truly incredible. You see, Vamsi has this innate gift to break down things to first principles. So it cuts a lot of like trial and iterations in this journey. Plus the structure and systems around growth and connections that they're bringing as part of Abiro is really a game changer for us. It is helping Honeycomb truly scale and like rapid speed, right? So it can be helpful for thousands. So I am a local to Hyderabad. So I have to say that like very excited that to see Abiro being launched in this vibrant city. I'm sorry that I'm not there, but all the best and rock on at this launch. Have fun. Hi.
So anyway, so one last point I want to make is, so we talk about social impact, giving back to ecosystem and so on. This is my fourth career move from a marine engineer to an IT guy to a corporate guy, entrepreneur, now an investor. I don't know how successful we will be. I know for sure that we will not do bad. However, beyond all of this, we want to be a set of entrepreneurs who will definitely mean and walk the talk of being impactful in the communities. Community here, community in Columbus, community elsewhere. And one of the things that if you're a student of history, it always amazes me. The Chengiz Khan, tribes of Mongolia versus Egyptian pharaohs, they took different routes to death. So Mongolians, especially Chengiz Khan and his tribes at the time, they didn't care about where they died. If they died on a steppe, on a desert somewhere, they left with whatever the ceremony. They left the bodies there. There's a reason why nobody ever found a monument or anything of sort for Chengiz Khan, even though he ruled or conquered half of the world. Whereas pharaohs, they really wanted to go to next world using these golden chariots. And you can see all the chariots in beautiful museums today. They didn't help them to go to the next world, apparently. Maybe they did and came back, I don't know. But the point is, we all are going to die. As encouraging as that statement is, between now and then, after taking care of our own, let's look at each other. Let's look at this community. When I look at those numbers for Hyderabad, MSR is right. It's a bit heartbreaking because at a macro level, I don't understand. This is the city that is supposed to have, you will celebrate everywhere that this is a city that is growing at a pace bigger than Mumbai and has the highest concentration of high net worth individuals. So there is money. It's just not coming into this building or buildings like this. So we have to find a way. I think there's a discussion on 6th with Sridhar Babugar and others. So hopefully will this active participation from all the leaders that will happen. But whatever the small part I can play and my team can play, we will be more than happy to play and contribute. That is one goal apart from making money for my investors in US because they are watching, I think, live. So I just want to make sure that it's not all my other hobbies. This is about making money back to investors because that's a core job. Thanks for coming here. I know more than half of you came because of MSR. Thanks anyway. Uh, Please, stay with us to hear from. Again, I want to say I'm so joyful. As I said, whole bunch of friends and family invested in me and Abyro. And I'm in this building. I always wanted to be. The intellectual curiosity, the strength of power, and the brain power in this room. So I'm joyful, but nothing compares with the joy of what is coming next, being able to chat with Padma Bhushan. I never met Padma Bhushan in my life, so looking forward to it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mr. Vamsi. What's an evening of innovation without partnerships that push boundaries? It is now time for the signing of the MOU between Abyro Capital Fund and T Hub. Please join me with a huge round of applause to welcome Mr. MSR, Mr. Vamsi, Ms. Mansi, and Mr. Sujit Jagirdar to formalize this collaboration.
Thanks again.
We now request Mr. Sujit Jagirdar, I'm sorry, sir, I'm calling you again, the CEO of T Hub, to please come onto the stage and share a few words.
Good evening, and most of the stuff that needs to be spoken has been spoken. So, having said that, first of all, Ms. Sindhu, a very warm welcome to T-Hub. We are privileged to have you here. I mean, I'm also meeting one of the Padma Bhushans for the first time. So, you have a team. So, having said that, I think we should give a huge round of applause to her because she has fixed her match. So I hope all of you know what I'm talking about, right? Congratulations for having announced, your engagement. And I'm sure many of us are keen to be part of the celebrations as well. So, Vamsi, congratulations for launching this $25 million fund from T-Hub. In fact, I don't know where MSR, I don't recall a launch of such a large fund from T-Hub in the last 2 years I've been here. So I think it's some kind of history as well in terms of what is happening today. So congratulations and thanks MSR for being the driving force. It's history, guys, so please a louder round of applause. It's probably for the first time. And again, please correct me, MSR, if there's been a bigger fund that was launched from here, so I don't recall. So congratulations on enabling that. Now I want to pick a couple of points from what you said. Hyderabad has a dichotomy, in terms of while it seems like we have a lot of money here, but that's not flowing in. You're right. In fact, one is the billion rupee entities, the HNI concentration is absolutely huge and probably one of the either number one or number two. Second interesting fact is that the PE fund flow into Hyderabad, it looks like it has been one of the highest in the country. Of course, it's not the VC, but the PE fund. But somehow the VCs are missing completely, in the whole scheme of things. So one thing we started, and you alluded to, is that, on 6th of December, we are celebrating our ninth anniversary, as some of you or most of you know. We now have close to 20 to 25 VCs, primarily partners from various VCs coming over and meeting the minister. Now, that's again one of the first, I would say. I mean, while we've been having VCs gracing the building, but such large numbers is unique. But I'm hoping that they'll also open their purses like the way you did to support the startup ecosystem here, the young founders who are, I'm sure, waiting for their turn, right, to demonstrate their capabilities and the products that they have. So all said and done, thank you very much once again choosing this location. I understand you are opening the office here as well. So I don't know if this is the occasion for the office opening as well, but we'll take it as that. And wish you all the best. And I'm sure you'll make good money. But I think the social impact or the impact part that you mentioned somewhere I read is also crucial, and we'll all look forward to, having that as one of the key parameters measurement of success as well. All the best and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sujit, for sharing your insight. I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say partnerships like these are the pillars that build entrepreneurial success. Next, we have a very special message from someone who has been a true enabler of innovation in Telangana. Let's hear from Jayesh Ranjan Garu, Special Chief Secretary of IT and Industries, as he shares his thought on the state's investment ecosystem and greets our special guest, PV Sindhu.
Hi, I'm Jayesh Ranjan. I'm the Special Chief Secretary in the Telangana government, looking after the subjects of IT, industries, sports, innovation, entrepreneurship. Today is indeed a very landmark day for all of us. And first of all, my regrets that I'm not here in person to be a part of this momentous occasion. But nevertheless, I'm happy that I'm able to share some thoughts of joy and happiness with all of you. Typically, many of you know this, when we began the startup journey here in Telangana approximately 10 years ago. First of all, many people advised that this is not the area where government should tread in, but we had this foresight, we had the courage, and therefore we have built great institutions like T-Hub, where all of you have gathered. But despite doing all these great things, one of the challenges, one of the concerns which everyone tells us is that the funding ecosystem is not yet mature, and therefore startups who do well, who feel that there is a level which they have reached where Hyderabad can't sustain them any further, they start moving away. And there are many such examples. I'm sure all of you in the room also know of countless such examples. And the only answer to this, one of course, is to continue chasing after all the big firms, motivating them to set up their offices here, teams here, and help them with all their process work, the due diligence, etc. Help them lower their operational costs. But another good way is to encourage new firms which are looking at India, which are aware about the potential of Indian startups, which know that there are certain cities which have become very important hotspots for promoting innovation and entrepreneurship. Motivate them to come to India and then obviously to come to Hyderabad. And this is that landmark thing which is happening today, about which I feel so proud and so excited, which is the launch of this new $25 million fund, Abyro Capital, which I'm sure you will find out in a while from now, is a fund which has very strong pedigree. Professionals are backing it. People who have themselves run companies, successful companies. Incidentally, the last CEO of T-Hub, Mr. M. Srinivas Rao, or MSR as we call him, is also a part of the advisory group. So I have met the founders, Vamshi Garu and various others, and I really feel great that they have chosen to locate this fund in Hyderabad. And I can guarantee you, looking at the other few funds which are in Hyderabad and looking at their success stories, their trajectory, I'm very, very confident that your decision, your leap of faith, if I may say so, in choosing to locate yourself here will just not go wrong. And we are there to help you. All the institutions that we have put together, they are there to help you. As I said, all the hard work that you do from the bottoms up, from the grassroots up, you can count on us that we will do it for you. We will deliver it for you. MSR Garu is already there, who will be a bridge between the existing institutions, the government mechanisms. And I can also give you one more piece of good news. The startups that you have chosen to invest in, if there is anything which you think that the government can do, even by bending backwards or going an extra mile to help them gain better market access, to gain more customers, to do something which otherwise would have been very challenging or difficult or would have taken too much of cost for you, we will do this for you as a service. Because you have chosen to stick here, you could have gone anywhere in the world, anywhere in the country. But because you have chosen to come to Hyderabad, this is the least that we as a government can do for you. So this is a promise. And obviously, I'm not here in person to say all these things to you, but when we meet the next time, hopefully very soon, let us structure it also on how do we do it, how do we assist the portfolio companies in getting a faster and a kind of a more targeted jump start than anyone else. So thank you very much for recording, for taping my comments, and good wishes to all of you. Hi, I'm Jay.
And now for the highlight of the evening, a fireside chat with none other than PV Sindhu, Olympic champion, sportsman par excellence, and an icon of perseverance and virtuosity. Guiding this conversation is Mr. Vamsi, a champion of cross border innovation. Let's dive into a discussion that promises to inspire entrepreneurs to smash barriers just like Sindhu smashes those shuttlecocks.
Yeah, they're getting it. Ma'am. Okay. Are you listening? You can go ahead, please. Stuff face you. It's probably easier to speak. Sindhu garu, welcome. So thanks so much for accepting the invitation short notice, and especially in middle of such an action-packed week, should I say? First of all, congratulations on Syed Modi. I think this is your third title after a little while, and as everybody is greeting you, congrats on your engagement. Sorry, Datta garu could not be here, but we are glad you are here. So you heard a few things from all of us on what it takes to be an entrepreneur. You know, the how the room is full of the engineering talent and startup founders and investors. Um, and when I was thinking about whom to call as a motivational speaker, as a keynote speaker, there was kind of no doubt in my mind that I wanted you to be part of this, this evening. So in fact, the date came about only because of your schedule. So otherwise, it could have been yesterday, tomorrow, whatever. But there was a bit of discussion on why Sindhu for a technology-led fund launch. And I had two reasons. One, I would say mainly because what it struck with me watching you, I met you when you were probably about 12, 13-year old in Gopichand Academy a long time ago. Since then, I genuinely feel that you do represent new India. The India that is self aware and self confident, and truly global in our outlook. One of our response to the interviews is, when whether you felt Chinese are unbeatable in badminton, and you just responded short back with the response saying that they are beatable, because you started beating them repeatedly. So that kind of attitude in the right way, and especially, and also keeping a foot firmly grounded. This is what I do believe the best part of our best part of our new India is, and you totally represent that, in my opinion. And the other point, I really wanted, to be somebody who is honestly a woman, than another man like me, a middle-aged guy, is, lecturing people about how to live their life. So the reason is, I won this EY Entrepreneur Award for one part of US last 2 years ago, and one of the interview question was, if I had a superpower, what would that be? And without blinking, I said it's a woman's resiliency and the tenacity that inherently is there in most women that I came across, strong women. I'm always fascinated by them, and you absolutely represent that. Anybody who watched your career, watched your growth, watched you play certain games, and even when you lost, how you kept your poise. It's amazing to. So I'm so. This is not to be cheesy. This is truly a fan moment for me. Yeah, to be here with you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Very good evening to everyone. Of course, it's my first time here. And also, let me also congratulate you, sir. I think when you speak about New India, it's, I think in the last 10 years and now you can see yourself, there's a lot of change in terms of, let's say, globally. And not only that, not only in sport, but also I think all over the world, like right now, our prime minister, wherever he goes, I mean, he's sitting right in the front, and everybody recognizes and says that, okay, wow, India has done so much. And globally, I think as Indians, I think we have to be proud because we have changed a lot in terms of technologies, in terms of sport, where I can confidently say that badminton being my sport, I mean, back then there was no much recognition, to be fair. It was almost always cricket. But now, if you see in the world map, badminton is something where India stands almost there, and everybody can say that, yes, we have champions from India. So that's how you recognize. And that's why I say, yes, New India is something back then it was different, and now it is comparatively very different.
Thank you. So, can you hear? So one of the other things that we just spoke a few times here is, in for startups and technology and any industry to grow, more than talent and timing, which are important, it's also so important that you get execution right. So when I was kind of preparing for this chat, I was like, how do I ask that question? Then I remembered Dhoni, another celebrated that we all absolutely adore. So, so he mentioned, how can he keep so cool all the time? And his point is, there is, both teams have a game plan for today. The weather, pitch, who they're pacing, who is going first, and so on and so forth. But at the end, who executes it slightly better wins most of the days. There are days then one individual takes away the game, but when you take them out, 80-90% of games are won by disciplined approach to the executing that game plan. I heard you speak about it too. So talk about both when you felt that, I'm cruising today, me and coach, my team had a plan and I'm executing flawlessly, and I find it so easy to do, versus same opponent or similar opponent, I'm finding it so difficult, I still have to dig deep and bring something else out.
I mean, it's always like that. So when you go into a match or when you have a game plan, yes, as you said, execution is very, very important. I mean, you have to make sure that plan A works, but accordingly, you also have to go with plan B if plan A doesn't work. So if I'm playing against an opponent, I mean, even she's working hard, and even she's doing her strategy how she should play with me, and even I do the same. But I think at that point of time, that minute, that second, you need to execute it. That's very, very important. At times, it does happen that nothing goes right, or you know we go blank. We think that what's happening, we've planned everything, but nothing is going in my way. But that's when it is important that you get your plan B. That's when you need to have two plans and accordingly be able to change. Because I always believe in how much ever game plan you make the before day and go into a match, it is going to change, because opponent is not stupid to just follow you. But at the same time, opponent also is smart enough to execute his own plan, like how and when to play with stroke. So it is very important to go with two plans, and if plan A doesn't work, you have to execute plan B. And there are days when nothing goes right, but it's again important to bounce back stronger, learn from your mistakes, and come back stronger.
So I just want to extend that just a little bit. So hopefully we'll give one example. So what if nothing is working? And did you ever find yourself, I'm sure that happened, where I'm like, forget about this. I'm just going to be Sindhu today. And I'm going to just do my thing, which is my stroke play or aggressiveness, whatever.
Yeah, there were a lot of situations like in my career till now. There have been a lot where nothing was going right. My coach was telling, you have to play this, but it isn't working. So at that point of time, I just feel that I have to just keep the shuttle in the court, just play a safe game. If nothing goes right, that's the only option. It can't be that you just leave the game and concede and come out, but you have to somehow manage it and change it accordingly and get it right. So that's what we are working for, and that is why we are having so many strategies. And that's why my father always keeps telling me that you have to watch opponents matches, because sometimes she might play differently and sometimes she might have different strategies. So if nothing goes right, you just have to stick to playing a safer game and keep the shuttle in the court. That's what I do.
Okay. All right. So I did talk about the Lumi life, and it has become kind of a very obsessive philosophy for me, both in personal life as well as work. We did briefly, speak about it yesterday. So, when you learning, everybody understands, especially what you are doing. You learn something every day, which is true for all of us. But the unlearning part of it. So most people struggle with it, especially as you grow older. Unlearning and losing, certain baggage, even when you know that it's a bad habit. You know, don't drink too much coffee, for example, from small to big ones. So in at work, in your play, the way you played, some of the habits, uh, what are those one or two things that you had to consciously make an effort, lot of effort to unlearn?
So, yeah, learning is a process, as you know, and unlearning also is a process, according to me. Because when you're young, everything is fine, you learn, it is a process. But then there are some times when you're playing a match and it is that stroke isn't going well and you are playing it wrong, but you don't understand that. Later on, when you do it in your practice sessions, your coach says that, okay, this is not the right way, you have to unlearn it, or you have to play differently. I mean, it is hard, but you have to do what makes you good, or you have to do what makes you improve. So it is not a bad thing, but it is always a good thing to unlearn things, because especially when you lose a match, when you make mistakes and you go back, you rectify them, you don't want to make those mistakes again. So you basically unlearn and change your game and come back stronger. So I think your philosophy, whatever the Lumi, what you said was, it's a very good example, or to many of them, not only in sports career but also to a lot of people here. I think learning and unlearning is a process where everybody will go through it. So
Okay, so when we are not world-class athletes, or you know, kind of celebrities or artists, we want to actually glean little bit into, example. So I know, I have watched your interviews, and this question is asked many times. So please, bear with me. But what is that one player who is that one player that you really wanted to beat because you just wanted to beat her? And I mean, other than Carolyn, but anyone else?
I think I want to beat every player. So if I want to be a champion, I have to beat every player. That's the only way I can be a champion. Yeah. There's not just one player because in a tournament.
There was never, like, it never became personal and said that one person.
No,
Never?
never.
Wow.
Yeah, because in a tournament you have to play with one or the other player. If you want to escape from one player, at the end of the day, when you come to the finals, she will come to the finals. You have to play. So yeah, the only thing is, if you want to be a champion, you have to beat all the players.
So I was thinking from last 2 3 days, people who are watching me walking around dazed is, I'm in awe with her, but I also observed her and saw so many interviews. It's extremely difficult to talk to Sindhu because she's always so put together. I mean, you can't really get anything out. It's not me. I'm not a professional in this, but I've seen many people trying and failing. So I'm not taking it back. All right. So one other thing is, I know recently you and the family broke ground for the academy in Vizag. I know you are working with few corporates also to make it really one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. Please talk about what your plans for it, how it's going, and if there is any way that any of us can be part of the journey.
Yeah, I am, of course, constructing an academy in Vizag. You must have recently seen I've done the puja and it's about to start. Definitely, it's going to take a year or so. So, my plan obviously is a lot of people taking me as an inspiration, want to get into badminton, play sport, become champions. So, I just want to give back to the sport. And I want to see many more Sindhus coming up. At the same time, definitely looking for a world class academy where I don't want them to think or say that we are lacking in something. I don't want that to say. And I want to build a world class academy where they have all the facilities, world class facilities, and I want to see a lot of champions out there because we are not less in anything. And as you said, yeah, I mean, everybody is beatable, and why not, why can't we produce champions? And yeah, I mean, definitely, that would be really nice and kind of you really talking to some of the corporate people, as you said, and looking forward for some of the CSR funds so that, together, put together, we'll definitely have a world class academy and many more champions.
All the best, and hopefully we can be and we will be part of it.
Thank you.
And just again looking at your journey from your teenage entry up to now, your discipline, your due diligence to follow the process is kind of very well celebrated, and rightly so. And the results show it. Your personality shows it. How you conducted yourself, not only when you are successful, but when you stayed successful as a person, that talks a lot about it. You know, talk to us a little bit about how the difficulty between being successful. I think you won the first Olympic gold at 16. Yeah, and celebrated like a prince coming back to India because we are obviously a nation starved of Olympic medals. Um, but talk to me a little bit about how you coached internal, not what is coached by parents or others outside. What is that you have done as a process that helped you stay there at that highest level of perfection in the chosen field?
Yeah, I mean, I started my playing badminton at the age of 8, and I would say my breakthrough moment was in 2013 when I won the World Championships bronze medal. And of course, my life has changed after 2016 after getting the Olympic silver. And yeah, I mean, when I came back to India, I did not even expect. I mean, the reception was amazing. I was on cloud nine, a lot of photographs, autographs, watching myself on the billboards. I think it has completely changed. But I always thought to myself that, this is only the beginning and there's more way to go. And I mean, a lot of people said, you won an Olympic silver after in 2021, after winning the bronze, another medal at the Olympics. People said, what else you want? I mean, you've won everything. What else you need? So I think for me, it's just the beginning, and there's a lot more to go. And obviously, I always believe in this, where my dad always told me that, no matter what, wherever you are, you have to always stay grounded. I think that is very, very important for every athlete and every person, because nobody is born with a golden spoon. I must say this. And everybody keeps working hard, and you need to understand from where you've come and what you've done, and you always need to have those roots. And that's what I follow. And I think that's what is taking me to where I am right now. And I'm, of course, very thankful to my parents for their, bringing up. And I think for me, it's very important to stay grounded. And I feel even now it's just the beginning and there's more way to go on.
Absolutely. So continuing this journey, someone like you, uh, with so much of life ahead of you, right? I'm sure you will play 2028 Olympics. Absolutely certain that that will happen. Beyond all of this, you can be anything that you want to be in the next version of you, right? So, what are the few things that you're thinking? Are there any plans to become an entrepreneur at some point?
Yeah, definitely. Right now I'm a deputy collector in Andhra government. So yeah, definitely, as you said, if I'm fit and I'm 100%, I would definitely play the 2028 Olympics. I think it's very important to stay injury free and just enjoy in playing badminton. And obviously after that, after my career, I think I will take up the IAS and do something for the women, especially women entrepreneurs, where I want to like tell and make them understand that what a woman needs and what it takes to be a champion, not only in sports but also outside sports, because everybody has their ups and downs in life, but it's very important to stay strong and keep believing in themselves, because I'm sure even in your journey and in everybody's journey, there are a lot of ups and downs, and life is such, you can't you have to accept it. You can't just say that it's very unfair, but life is such. But it's very important, when you're at your low, what you need to do and what keeps you going is very important. So I want to inculcate that and definitely get a lot of women entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. So, one last thing is, so you see a whole bunch of people that you typically don't meet, right? Do you have any questions, comments back to us?
I mean, I think it might be a very simple one for you, but I just want to understand, like, see, in sport, we lose, and it's very hard at times to bounce back. So, in your journey or in everybody's journey here, I just want to ask, what makes you, or what happens, or what keeps you going? Like, at times you're at your very low phase. So how do you bounce back is what I want to understand, because I'm sure under you there are so many people. So, like, what do you tell them? How do they understand, or what makes you come back?
So, as you probably already figured out, I'm the I'm the guy who blabbers a lot. So, I'll pass this to someone else. Anyone want to take this question? What keeps you going?
Oh, yeah.
So I'll give you a little clip about my life. My first startup was in the Bay Area, and it was a very techy company. I was from IIT, a PhD at UIUC, HP Labs. started this company, it took off. And then when the company was 2 years old, our son, my wife Usha is there, just put your hand up. Our son actually had a medical mishap at Stanford. So he became a paraplegic. And the insurance company pulled out. And I was doing my first startup. Okay, so this goes back to what you were saying. Just push through, plug through. It took 10 years to sell that company. But the beauty is I'm back here. We've done 3 companies since. I've been part of 2 large VC companies. And I'm giving back as an advisor to T Hub. I'm very, very happy that you're there. So I think all of us have that thing to fight back. And this is just one example I thought I'll just bring up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Totally. The one way that I would describe this is, I think I briefly mentioned, being the founders and the CEOs, especially of small companies, your life is very lonely because you're not in corporate, you're not covered by your admins and your bosses and 600 people reporting to you. That creates a lot of anxiety apart from other market conditions, financials, and so on. So the one way that at least I found myself recovering from it is, every day, and in fact every half day, keep those incremental moves and never stop moving forward, right? So when you make small moves, small, incremental moves towards your goal, overall you are moving in your bad phase also. Even when you're down, you're moving basically. You're not just stopping and freezing. Because honestly, being a business owner, you don't have a choice. You have people who are dependent on you for payroll, clients that are dependent on you for service and so on. So I think more than anything, that feeling that responsibility of and the ownership of others' fate in with you, I think that gets you going every day.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, as Sir said, I think it's just the thing of never give up, keep pushing yourself, because yeah, I think even in sport a lot of people come to me telling that we're not able to win, what to do, should we stop playing badminton, we're not having any results. But I think it's a process again, where you learn, unlearn, you make mistakes, you learn from your mistakes. But at the same time, couple of them get success at a very early age, couple of them get success after so many years of downfall. But I think that belief and hope takes you where you are and what you are. And I think sustaining that and having that hope within yourself is very important.
Absolutely. So a few minutes, can we take questions? Do we have time? Okay. Couple of questions is what my boss is saying, and anyone anyone wants to ask a question to Sindhu? Yep.
Probably a dumb question. What do you do outside of sport? What interests you? Uh, just wanted to know.
Actually, I don't have time, sir, to be fair. It's mostly I train, otherwise, I go play tournaments. And as soon as the tournaments are over, people ask me, what do you do? Do you go out? I again come back and train because I have to prepare for another tournament. So this is what I do. Apart from that, it's very important to recover our bodies, because recovery is very, very important to stay injury free. So when I'm at home, I spend time with my family and my dog. That's the only time I spend time with my family members. But apart from that, it's mostly training and then traveling abroad for tournaments.
I will come to you after this, okay?
మేడం, నేను తెలుగులో మాట్లాడతాను. నా పేరు జనార్దన్, నేను రిటైర్డ్ టీచర్. భారతదేశంలో ఇంకా ఈ జెండర్ డిస్క్రిమినేషన్ ఉంది. మరి మీలాంటి సింధువులు ఈ దేశంలో రావాలంటే ఏ ఆలోచనతో ఈ ప్రభుత్వం కానీ సమాజం కానీ పనిచేస్తే బాగుంటుంది? థ్యాంక్ యూ.
యాక్చువల్లీ నాకు పర్సనల్గా అయితే ఏమీ జెండర్ డిస్క్రిమినేషన్ ఎప్పుడు అనిపించలేదండి. నేను ఆడుతున్నప్పుడల్లా నాకు గవర్నమెంట్ నుంచి కానీ ఎప్పుడు సపోర్ట్ ఉంటానే ఉంది. సో జెండర్ డిస్క్రిమినేషన్ అన్నది నాకైతే ఎప్పుడు అనిపించలేదు. ఎప్పుడూ నన్ను ఈక్వల్‌గానే చూసారు. అట్ ద సేమ్ టైమ్ మనకి ఇంకా ఎక్కువ సింధువులు రావాలి అంటే కష్టపడాలి. హార్డ్ వర్క్ అన్నది చాలా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఎవరైనా కష్టపడాల్సిందే. అండ్ అలాగే ఇప్పుడు నేను ఇంతకు ముందు గూడా చెప్పాను. నేను వైజాగ్‌లో ఒక అకాడమీ కన్‌స్ట్రక్ట్ చేస్తున్నాను. సో, అందులో నేను ఇప్పుడు వరకు ఏం నేర్చుకున్నాను, నేనెంత సాధించాను అండ్ నా కెరియర్‌లో ఇన్ని సంవత్సరాల్లో నేనెంత గెలిచానో, ఇప్పుడు నేను మళ్ళీ స్పోర్ట్‌కి ఇవ్వాలనుకుంటున్నాను. నా సైడ్ నుంచి, నా వంతు నుంచి నేను సపోర్ట్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నాను. సో, నా సపోర్ట్‌తో నాకున్న నాలెడ్జ్‌తో నేనిన్ని గెలిచాను కాబట్టి నాకున్న నాలెడ్జ్‌తో నేను ఎంతోమంది చిన్న పిల్లలు నన్ను ఇన్‌స్పిరేషన్‌గా తీసుకుని ఎంతోమంది చెప్పారు నాతో, "మేమొచ్చి మీ అకాడమీలో జాయిన్ అవుతాము. మాకు మీలాగా అవ్వాలనుందని." బట్ మళ్ళీ చెప్తున్నాను, హార్డ్ వర్క్ అన్నది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. కష్టపడాలి. అట్ ద సేమ్ టైమ్ సక్సెస్ అన్నది చాలా ఒక 1 మంత్‌లో లేకపోతే 2 మంత్స్‌లో రాదు. చాలా ఇయర్స్ ఆఫ్ హార్డ్ వర్క్ అండి అది. సో, నేను నా సైడ్ నుంచి నా సపోర్ట్ తప్పకుండా ఇస్తాను. అండ్ ఐ కెన్ మేక్ ష్యూర్ దట్ ఇంకా ఎంతోమంది సింధూస్ పైకొచ్చి ఈ దేశానికి ఎంతో బాగా ఆడి గెలుస్తారని నేను గ్యారంటీ ఇస్తాను.
So నేను just digressing from the kind of activity here. జనార్దన్ గారు అండ్ ఆ టేబుల్లో ఇంకా ఆహాన్ టీం ఒకసారి నిలబెడతారా? టీచర్స్ ఇద్దరు వచ్చారు కదా. యా సో వీళ్ళు ద టీమ్ ఆహాన్ అని. సో గతి నుంచి వీ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ కొలాబరేటెడ్ విత్ దెమ్. దీస్ ఆర్ ద పీపుల్ దట్ ఐ మెన్షన్. దే టీచ్ ఎవ్రీడే ఇన్ స్కూల్స్. ఇక్కడ లోకల్ స్కూల్స్లో ఈ కిడ్స్ వాళ్ళ పేరెంట్స్ ఇద్దరు వర్క్కి వెళ్తే వాళ్ళు స్కూల్కి రాకుండా ఉంటే వాలంటీర్స్ వెళ్ళి స్కూల్కి తీసుకుని వచ్చి వీళ్ళు వాళ్ళకి ఫుడ్ పెట్టి కోచ్ చేస్తున్నారు. ఈవెన్ దో ఆయన రిటైర్ అయినా కానీ అండ్ హీఈస్ వెరీ మచ్ ఇన్వాల్వ్డ్ ఇన్ దట్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్. సో వీఆర్ సూపర్ థ్రిల్డ్. And in fact, that platform I talked about is hopefully will take some of their examples and hopefully scale through technology, through HCOM that I talked about. Anyway, I know you.
సారీ,
Sorry, go
వన్
ahead.
థింగ్ అండి. ఇంకొకటి, తల్లిదండ్రుల సపోర్ట్ చాలా ఉండాలండి. అది చాలా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఎందుకంటే చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి పిల్లలు ఎంత ఆడాలనుకున్నా లేకపోతే పైకి రావాలంటే తల్లిదండ్రుల సపోర్ట్ లేకుండా అయితే రాలేరు. నేను మా ఫాదర్ మదర్ స్పోర్ట్స్ ఆడేవారు కాబట్టి నన్ను చాలా సపోర్ట్ చేశారు. రోజు నన్ను ట్రైనింగ్ తీసుకెళ్ళడం కానీ లేకపోతే రోజు టోర్నమెంట్స్కి రావడం కానీ వాళ్ళ వల్లే నేను ఇవాళ ఇక్కడ ఉన్నానని చెప్పొచ్చు. సో తల్లిదండ్రుల సపోర్ట్ మనకి చాలా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళు ఇప్పుడు ఎన్నో అకాడమీస్ ఉన్నాయి చెప్పాలంటే. సో వాళ్ళు వాళ్ళ పిల్లల్ని ఒక అకాడమీలో జాయిన్ చేసేసి మా పిల్లలు కూడా ఛాంపియన్స్ అయిపోతారంటే అలా కాదు. పిల్లల్ని జాయిన్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఆర్ దే గోయింగ్ ఇన్ ద రైట్ వే ఆర్ నాట్, సరిగా చేస్తున్నారా లేకపోతే చెయ్యట్లేదా, ఏం చేస్తున్నారు అన్నది పేరెంట్స్ కూడా వాళ్ళ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ చూపించాలి పిల్లల మీద. సో జస్ట్ దట్ ఏదైనా అకాడమీలో జాయిన్ చేసేసి మా పిల్లలు కూడా ఛాంపియన్స్ అయిపోతారంటే అలా కాదు. సో పేరెంట్స్ కూడా ఎంతో సపోర్ట్ చేస్తే తప్ప పిల్లలు పైకి రాలేరండి. సో పేరెంట్స్ సపోర్ట్ చాలా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. అది కూడా చాలా మెయిన్ ఆస్పెక్ట్. ఇన్ఫాక్ట్ దట్ ఈస్ ద వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఆస్పెక్ట్.
Sure. I think we have one last question.
Hey, hi Sindhu. I've been following your journey and you have been investing in startups as well. So I'm little curious, like what kind of startups do you prefer to invest in and what is your investment thesis?
Okay, well, that's a secret. I don't want to say what my startups are, but I mean, I'm slowly just looking what is good and see where it is going. So that's what I see and do. But again, I'm definitely taking support of my parents and the well-wishers, obviously, who are supporting me and who've seen my journey. Because you need to know what it is actually, and you need to understand the whole aspect. That is when you can, put it in and invest something. So yeah, I think not that I'm investing in everything, but at the same time, obviously we need to be very wise enough and take good decisions to invest in such a way that it will be beneficial in the future as well.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I know she has to go for another 3 events just before she goes to bed in the middle of her other activities. So thanks so much again. Can't help but thank Datta for facilitating this. సో నేను సింధు లాంటి వాళ్ళకి ఏదైనా గిఫ్ట్ ఇవ్వాలంటే ఏమి ఇస్తాం? సో దిస్ ఇస్ వెరీ డిఫికల్ట్. గివింగ్ ఏ బ్యాడ్మింటన్ రాకెట్ ఈస్ సో సిలీ, రైట్? సో దట్స్ సో లేమ్. that came to my mind. Then I'm like, come on. So I did something చాలా బ్రెయిన్ యూజ్ చేసి మీరు తెలుగు లిటరేచర్ చదవరేమో అని ఒక గెస్ చేసి సో ఒకటి తెలుగు 3 క్లాసిక్స్ కొన్నాను. కన్యాశుల్కం, బారిస్టర్ పార్వతీశం అండ్ వెయ్యి పడగలను. సో హోప్ఫుల్లీ కీప్ ఇట్ ఇన్ అవర్ లైబ్రరీ ఆర్ నెక్స్ట్ టు బెడ్. At some point, hopefully you'll read them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, Andy. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Yeah, we'll request you all to stay on the stage for a little while. Mr. MSR, Ms. Mansi, please join for a group photo. Ms. Sindhu, we want you on the stage for a while. We'll just capture this moment. And one with the audience now. Everybody, please stand up on your places. Strike your best pose. Let's show some love and gratitude to Miss PV Sindhu for being with us here tonight with a resounding round of applause. Well, what a night it has been, full of energy, inspiration, and possibilities. As we wrap up, I'd like to invite Ms. Mansi Seth, partner at Abyro Capital, for the closing remarks. Let's give her a huge round of applause.
I, I know it may not be the right time, but I wanted to, just after somebody such huge as a personality leaves, it's difficult to keep the crowd inside the room. But I promise I won't take much time. This is a very emotional moment for me. And when the discussion was happening about the thank you note, I told MSR I want to take this opportunity because this place in itself has given me a lot. And last 4 years in T Hub have been incredibly amazing. Um, so yeah, thank each one of you for your presence here. Life for me has been a circle, coming back to the same place and working with the same super boss again. So he's not here, I'm sure, but I hope he knows that he has a lot of, I have a lot of admiration for him. But having said that, T Hub, Telangana, Hyderabad as a city has been a support system, and that's what an ecosystem needs. Some of my support system is sitting right behind with all the startups out there. So thank you very much for not only being here, but also being there as a part of my journey. Um, Thanks to the Telangana government and the T Hub team here, Sujit sir, and everyone else in your team, right from funding to marketing, and especially the facilities team. I think they need a huge round of applause. Without them, this would have never happened. Like, amazingly helped us out through and through, and it was really, really smooth. And thanks for creating such a beautiful platform for all of us to come and express ourselves and create an impact in the ecosystem. So, really, really thank you for that. Uh, and yeah, the list will go on definitely. But a big thank you to all the founders. I think Vamsi and MSR also mentioned Abyro actually started with us having a discussion where we keep founders at the core. And this is what excited all of us to come together and start this journey. So, founders will always be the core of the ecosystem. And I'm a strong believer of communities. So, hope we can create an impact together. Please, let's connect and cheers to an amazing evening. Thanks once again. And I will leave you to the dinner and drinks. Thank you so much. Sorry, the dinner is on your right side, facing my home, Bhuja. So you will find your way through the back.